man, she really did a number on you, didn't she? Not just broke your heart, but messed with how you see yourself. Right now, it probably feels like everything's fallen apart and you're just standing there trying to pick up the pieces. But here's the thing, that mess you're in, it's not the end of the road. It's the start of something better, the real tougher you. Stick with me here, because what I'm about to share might just flip the script. She won't just remember you, she'll wish she hadn't ever let you go. Hey, if you're new around here, I'm glad you stopped by. This is Brainify On, where we talk about the messy stuff, love, mind games, and figuring out your worth without all the fluff. Let's dive right in. 1. Pain is a signal, not a sentence. So she broke you, and I don't just mean the relationship ended. I mean she cracked your trust, shook your rhythm, and left you with an emptiness you didn't see coming. You wake up and the bed feels bigger than ever. You reach for your phone expecting that good morning text that doesn't arrive. That's the worst part, isn't it? It's not just missing her. It's realizing the habits you built around her now sit like ghosts in your day. And in those moments, it feels like life handed you a punishment, like you're paying for some mistake you don't even remember making. But hear me clearly. Pain is not a sentence, it's a signal. Pain is your soul's alarm clock shouting that something is wrong, something is misaligned. You don't feel pain when things are right. You feel it when your heart's been trying to whisper for too long and you didn't listen. Think about it like this. When your body hurts, you don't call yourself weak. If you break a bone, you don't hide it out of shame. You know the pain is the body saying, fix this now. Emotional pain is no different. It's not here to brand you as unworthy. It's here to push you to notice. Notice where you gave too much. Notice where you stayed too long. Notice where you kept holding on to dead weight because you were scared of letting go. The real danger isn't heartbreak. The real danger is when men suppress heartbreak, when they drown themselves in distractions, alcohol, rebounds, endless scrolling, just to avoid listening to what pain is screaming. Suppression doesn't free you, it traps you, because the ache doesn't disappear, it buries itself, waits for you in the quiet moments and eats you slowly. But when you face pain, when you sit in it instead of running, it becomes your teacher. It forces you to admit truths you didn't want to see, like how much of yourself you lost just to keep someone else happy, like how you confused her attention for your value, like how you called chaos love because you didn't know peace. And here's the shift. You can run from pain and stay broken, or you can learn from pain and be rebuilt, because pain in its rawest form is honest. It doesn't flatter, it doesn't lie. It tells you exactly what went wrong. It tells you where you betrayed yourself long before she betrayed you. So brother, don't treat this heartbreak like a prison sentence. Don't believe the lie that this is the end of your worth. It's not. This pain is your proof that something better, something truer is waiting for you. She may have broken you, but the pain is handing you a map out. And if you can listen, if you can sit in the fire without running, you'll rise sharper, wiser, and more unshakable than you ever imagined. 2. Withdraw your power, not just your presence. Walking away from her physically, that's easy. You block her, delete the photos, unfollow her Instagram, done. But let's be real. That's surface level, because even after all that, she's still in your head. You wake up and the first thing you think about is whether she's missing you. You catch yourself replaying old conversations, wondering if you should have said something different. You stalk her profile just to see if she looks happy without you. That's not freedom. That's emotional slavery. See, most men confuse distance with detachment, but there's a big difference. Distance is about moving your body away. Detachment is about pulling your energy back. And if you leave her life but keep orbiting around her in your mind, she still owns you. She still decides how you feel. She still controls your peace without even being in the room. And that's the trap. Because when you do this, you're giving her free rent in your head. Every memory you replay, every story you check, every fantasy of maybe she'll regret it one day, that's you handing her power she didn't even ask for. Withdrawing power is deeper. It's when you stop measuring your worth based on her reaction. It's when you stop wondering if she notices your progress. It's when you stop letting her silence decide your mood. That's true withdrawal. Let me put it this way. If you're in a room and someone walks out, you can still keep staring at the door, waiting for them to return. That's what most men do after heartbreak. They wait, they hope, they imagine. But withdrawing power means you turn around, you face the room, you live again. The door is shut and you're no longer waiting on it to open. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't easy because detachment feels like dying. You're letting go of not just her, but the version of you that revolved around her. That version of you who craved her texts, who bent for her approval, who felt validated only when she smiled. He has to go. And that's scary because it feels like you're losing a part of yourself. But in reality, you're regaining the part of you that got lost. When you withdraw your power, something shifts. You no longer look for her shadow in your day. You stop caring whether she regrets or not. Your silence stops being a tactic to make her miss you and becomes a sanctuary for you to finally feel yourself again. That's when the real regret kicks in. For her, because when she realizes you're no longer available for her games, no longer stuck in her orbit, no longer feeding her ego, she'll know. She'll see the man who once gave her the world now walks with his own. And trust me, that silence will be louder than any words you could ever say. 3. Don't chase closure. Build discipline closure. The word every broken man clings to. You think, if I could just have one more talk, if she could just explain, I'd finally be able to move on. But here's the truth. Closure is a myth. It's a carrot dangled in front of you that keeps you chasing someone who's already gone. Think about it. Why would the same person who broke you suddenly give you peace? If she lied, disrespected, or walked away without care, what makes you think her words will heal you now? She's not coming back to give you clarity. She's not sitting awake at night rehearsing an apology. If anything, she's probably moving on while you sit there rehearsing speeches you'll never give. The chase for closure is really the chase for comfort. You want her explanation because deep down, you hope it will soften the betrayal. You hope it will make sense, that it'll hurt less if there's a reason. But most of the time, there isn't one. People leave not because you weren't enough, but because they weren't capable of loving the right way. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is choosing to stop chasing answers that don't exist. It's choosing to not send that late night text. It's choosing to not stalk her social media. It's choosing to not pick apart her silence as if it's a secret message. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not some big heroic act. It's small daily choices. When you wake up and miss her voice, but you keep your phone down. When you drive past her street, but don't turn. When your heart aches to hear from her, but you remind yourself you don't need someone's reflection to validate your worth. The strongest men aren't the ones who never feel the urge. They're the ones who feel it and still choose dignity over desperation. And here's the kicker. When you stop chasing closure, you build something more powerful, self-respect. You stop needing her to tie up loose ends because you decide to tie them yourself. You say, I don't need her explanation to move forward. My decision is my closure. That discipline doesn't just heal you, it transforms you. Because one day when she does think about you, when she wonders why you never begged, why you never chased, why you disappeared with quiet strength, that's when regret creeps in. Not because you forced it, but because you finally built a version of yourself that no longer seeks peace in someone who broke it. That's the closure. That's the power. And it was in your hands the whole time. 4. Rewire. Don't just distract. Here's what most men do after heartbreak. They distract themselves. They jump into casual flings, drown in nights out, scroll endlessly through apps, binge watch shows, fill their days with noise. And for a moment, it feels like it's working. The ache dulls, the silence disappears. But late at night, when the noise fades, the emptiness returns. That's because distraction doesn't heal, it only delays. Healing isn't about escape, it's about rewire. Because what broke you wasn't just her leaving. It was the patterns that kept you there long after the relationship had expired. It was the way you kept excusing red flags because you didn't want to start over. It was confusing passion with chaos, loyalty with self-abandonment. And unless you rewire those patterns, you'll just repeat them with someone new. Think about it like a house. If the wiring is faulty, you can paint the walls, buy new furniture, hang nice pictures. It'll look great. But eventually the lights will flicker, the circuits will blow, and the problem will resurface. Distraction is like painting the walls. Rewiring is going into the foundation, tearing apart what doesn't work and fixing it so it never burns you again. Rewiring looks like asking the hard questions. Why did I settle for less than I deserved? Why did I stay when I felt unseen? Why did I think her attention was proof of my worth? These questions sting. They cut deep, but they're necessary because answers to those questions reveal the blind spots you've been ignoring. And rewiring isn't just mental, it's physical too. Every time you want to text her but choose to journal instead, you rewire. Every time you want to wallow but drag yourself to the gym, you rewire. Every time you want to scroll her profile but open a book or learn a skill, you rewire. Each small decision builds a new neural path, away from dependency towards self-respect. The truth is, heartbreak isn't just about losing someone else. It's about losing the version of yourself that tolerated being broken. And that version can't survive if you want to grow. So don't settle for distraction. Don't fool yourself into thinking healing is just about keeping busy. Rewiring requires solitude, reflection, discomfort, but it's the only path that makes sure you don't return to the same cage you just escaped. She may never know the work you're doing in silence, but one day when you show up in the world with standards, confidence, and calm that can't be shaken, she'll feel it. She'll regret breaking a man who rebuilt himself in a way she could never reach again. 5. Let her absence be your awakening. Her absence is brutal, isn't it? You wake up and she's not there. You reach for your phone and there's no message. You walk past familiar places and every corner whispers her name. It feels like you're drowning in silence that used to be filled by her presence. That absence, it crushes you. But let me tell you something. Her absence is not the end. It's your awakening. Because what you're feeling right now is not just heartbreak, it's withdrawal. You built your peace around her voice, your identity around her presence, your sense of worth around her approval. And now that she's gone, it feels like your whole self vanished with her. But here's the truth. Her absence didn't steal your identity. It revealed how much of it you abandoned just to keep her. Think back. How many times did you silence your own needs just to keep the relationship? How many times did you ignore that gut feeling because you were scared of losing her? How often did you bend, shrink, or compromise so much that you barely recognized yourself anymore? Her absence is shining a light on all of that. It's showing you how lopsided it really was. You weren't just in love, you were attached, dependent, tied to an outcome you couldn't control. And now that it's gone, the emptiness you feel is the part of you that needs to be reclaimed. This is the moment you stop asking, why did she leave? And start asking, why did I give her the keys to my peace in the first place? Her absence hurts because it exposes the truth. You abandoned yourself while trying to be enough for her. You gave her the steering wheel of your life and now you're lost without her. But the beauty of this moment is that you get to take the wheel back. Her absence is a mirror, and what you see in that mirror is not weakness. It's clarity. It's the chance to rebuild a life that doesn't collapse when one person walks out. Don't waste this moment by trying to fill the void with noise. Don't rush into someone else's arms just to feel wanted again. Sit with the discomfort. Let the silence teach you. Let her absence strip you bare until you see yourself clearly. Because when you finally wake up from this, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need her presence to feel whole. You never did. You just needed to stop abandoning yourself. And when she sees that, when she sees the man who no longer begs, no longer waits, no longer ties his worth to her, trust me, that's when regret will hit her harder than any words you could ever speak. 6. Upgrade in silence, return with standards. Here's where most guys mess up. After heartbreak, they want to prove. They post gym selfies, show off the glow up, throw cryptic quotes online, flirt loudly with new women, just to let her know they're doing better. But let's be real. If you're trying to prove, you're not healed. You're still performing for her. You're still seeking her validation, just in disguise. True strength, it doesn't need an audience. Real healing happens in silence. Upgrading in silence means you don't announce your moves. You don't tell her you're over her. You don't broadcast your progress. You live it quietly, consistently, relentlessly. Every time you wake up and resist the urge to text her, you upgrade. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you upgrade. Every time you pour your energy into your goals instead of wasting it on her memory, you upgrade. And nobody needs to clap for it because the reward isn't her regret, it's your rebirth. But here's the key. When you return with standards. That means no more tolerating mixed signals, no more bending just to keep someone, no more staying where you're not chosen. Standards aren't rules to punish others, they're boundaries to protect yourself. When you carry standards, you stop chasing validation, you stop confusing chaos for passion, you stop allowing people to break you just because you're scared of being alone. Standards shift your energy, you walk differently, you speak differently, you carry a calm that doesn't beg to be loved, it demands respect simply by existing. And let me tell you, this is the part she'll regret the most, because when she finally sees you again, whether that's online, in person, or even through the whispers of mutual friends, she won't see the broken man she left. She'll see a man reborn, stronger, calmer, sharper, a man who no longer bends for attention, a man whose presence alone commands respect. That's the kind of man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't crumble, and that's the kind of man she'll regret losing. Not because you made her, but because she'll realize you became someone she'll never have access to again. So don't upgrade to prove her wrong, upgrade to prove yourself right. Do it quietly, do it daily. And when you return, let your standards speak louder than any revenge ever could, because silence with strength, that's the loudest sound a broken heart can make. So let's be real for a second. She broke you. She walked out, she left you in pieces, and for a while you thought that was the end of you. But it wasn't. It was the beginning. Pain was never meant to bury you. It was meant to wake you up. Now you know the truth. Pain isn't weakness. It's a signal, a sign that you were living out of alignment, giving your all where there was no return. That signal wasn't here to punish you. It was here to show you the parts of yourself you lost in the process of loving her. You've learned that distance doesn't matter if you don't also withdraw your power, because she can be out of your life physically, but still own you emotionally if you keep her in your thoughts, your habits, your every decision. That ends the moment you stop orbiting her world and step fully into your own. You've realized closure is a trap. You don't need one last talk. You don't need her explanation. You don't need her words to move forward. Closure isn't something she gives you. Closure is something you decide. And that decision, that discipline, is what makes you stronger than ever before. You've seen how distraction keeps you stuck. It numbs you today, but chains you tomorrow. But rewiring, that's what transforms you. That's what takes the broken man she left and rebuilds him into a man no one can break again. Her absence, yes, it stings, but her absence is also the gift that forces you to finally see yourself, to stop abandoning your own needs, your own peace, just to keep someone else. Her absence isn't the end of your story. It's the chapter where you take the pen back and finally you upgrade. Not loudly, not to prove a point, but in silence where true strength lives. And when you return, you don't return desperate, you don't return bitter. You return with standards that protect your peace, guard your heart, and make sure you never shrink for anyone again. So listen closely. Don't chase her, don't beg her, don't prove yourself to her. Do the work in silence, rebuild, rise. Because when you do, when you stand tall, calm, unshaken, her regret will be inevitable. Not because you forced it, but because you became a man she'll never have access to again. That's the win. That's the victory. Not getting her back, not proving her wrong, but becoming the man who no longer needs her approval to feel alive. If this spoke to you, subscribe to Brainify On for more powerful lessons on love, psychology, and self-worth. And if you're ready to go deeper, join our channel membership for exclusive content that cuts even sharper. Remember, she may have broken you, but you're the one who decides if you stay broken. Rise, rebuild, return stronger.